The friction between the United States and Iran reflects a century of Western geopolitical interventions that repeatedly produced the exact opposite of their intended goals. The process began in the early 1900s, when the British Empire discovered massive oil reserves in the Iranian desert, seizing control of the resource that would soon drive global industry. Under terms forced upon the country, the British Empire extracted 84% of the oil revenue. Iran received 16%. To protect this advantage, the British intervened in Iranian affairs, suppressing early attempts to establish a constitutional democracy. This era defined Iran's initial relationship with the West, establishing a pattern where Iranian self-determination was treated as a direct threat to foreign corporate profits. In the early 1950s, Mohammad Mosaddegh became prime minister. He moved to democratize the state and nationalize the oil wealth siphoned away by the British. Expecting a British attempt to subvert his cabinet, Mosaddegh cancelled the oil concession and evicted the British embassy staff. The response was a coup d'état orchestrated by the CIA and MI6. CIA operative Kermit Roosevelt paid local day laborers to stage riots and loot stores, creating the appearance of a country in collapse. The military used the manufactured chaos to step in. Mosaddegh was arrested, and the West installed the Shah as an absolute US-backed monarch. The coup demonstrated that the West would dismantle Iranian democratic institutions to protect corporate revenue, a lesson that would eventually radicalize the Iranian public. Under the Shah, Tehran underwent rapid, forced westernization. By the 1970s, the city was a consumerist mirror of the United States, filled with Western fashion. While the culture appeared liberal, the politics were not. The Shah utilized his secret police, SAVAK, to monitor the population and eliminate dissent through imprisonment and torture. Political repression and forced cultural shifts eventually triggered the 1979 Islamic Revolution, which toppled the Shah's government and replaced it with a clerical theocracy. During the upheaval, Iranian students stormed the U.S. embassy. They sought physical evidence linking the United States to the 1953 coup against Mosaddegh. The event compromised U.S. intelligence across the continent. Students reassembled shredded documents, exposing the embassy as the central headquarters for CIA operations throughout Asia. The U.S. attempt to control Iran through an autocrat had produced a fiercely anti-American republic that now held the archives of its secret operations. To contain the new revolution, the United States supported Iraq's Saddam Hussein as he launched an invasion of the destabilized country. The invasion led to an 8-year conflict defined by trench warfare. Iraqi forces, supplied with Western intelligence, repeatedly used chemical weapons at war to silence his domestic critics and consolidate absolute authority over the state. The U.S.-backed invasion failed to collapse the new government. Instead, it provided the Islamic Republic with the national emergency it needed to militarize society and crush internal dissent. In the late 1990s, Iran elected President Mohammad Khatami, a reformist who sought to ease social restrictions and normalize relations with the West. After the September 11th attacks, Tehran provided the U.S. military with intelligence on the Northern Alliance to help combat the Taliban in Afghanistan. In 2002, President George W. Bush responded to this cooperation by labeling Iran a member of the axis of evil in his State of the Union address. The speech undermined the reform movement in Tehran. Hardliners used the betrayal to argue that cooperation with the West was impossible, effectively ending the push for democratization. A year later, the U.S. invasion of Iraq removed Saddam Hussein, inadvertently eliminating Iran's most significant regional competitor. This map shows how the removal of the Iraqi government created a vacuum. Iran filled the space, expanding its influence and proxy militia networks through Iraq and into Syria and Lebanon. The 2015 nuclear deal, or JCPOA, was an attempt to manage this tension through diplomacy and trade, though the agreement was eventually abandoned. For a century, Western powers used coups, autocrats, and wars to maintain control over Iran. Each intervention failed, creating the conditions for the unyielding adversary they face today.